Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So if you're like me and you're getting super hyped for the November English release, you're also trying to figure out what deck you're going to play, right? Well, if you're going to be really kind of tight on money, this may be an option for you. Let's get into this. Alright, so just jumping straight into it here, clearly Rookie Rush, right? And you're just seeing colors galore. I've got every color on the screen here, and there's kind of a reason for that. This is just kind of like a brain mash theory, completely untested, by the way. I just want to put that out there, so don't just obliterate me in the comments. But the thought process is a lot of cards are going to get really expensive. I know I've got some expensive stuff down here, some tech options, but there's some alternatives to those as well, don't worry. But you're going to be kind of hounded on getting cards fast, right? And if you're like day one, you're game one, and you just ripped open all of your packs, you didn't pull what you needed to make your super great blue Omnimon deck, or whatever it is, and all you've got is your structure deck. It's like structure deck, I can throw in a couple cards with that and call it good. Or if there's enough people there, try to get some commons and stuff off of them. And that's kind of what I've thrown together here. Super cheap alternative that could just kind of blow them out of the water depending on how they have their deck built, right? Alright, so just jumping right in here. So clearly we're running a Rookie Rush strategy, and I've got all the rookies here that are the 2 mana cost rookies, right? As well as 0 cost for pretty much all of them except for Armadillomon, who is pretty much your guaranteed. You'll always play him from hand. You'll never Digivolve him. But also, I went with Upamon as a rookie, or as a Digitama. You don't necessarily even need Digitama in this deck, especially because it's just like straight Skittles on the table, right? There's no rhyme or reason. However, if you look here, 4 of these, the purple here, or 4 of the rookies here are blue. So we have a higher likelihood of having a blue rookie in hand to actually get Upamon's effect, which is pretty great. When attacking, if your opponent has a Digimon with no Digivolution sources cards in play, you get to draw a card. So fairly common probability of being able to pop this guy off every once in a while, right? So there's no harm in just having 4 of it in there. There wasn't really anything else, any other Digitama that I felt really would work for this strategy, especially blue, because blue had probably the best options for the most rookies to have was to go with blue, because they have 3 of the 2 cost, as well as they have Gabumon here, who just on play you get to draw a card, especially because you're not going to be doing a whole lot of Digivolving with this deck. Drawing cards is going to be difficult. So having that option to have Gabumon for an extra draw there, as well as the Upamon evolving with your rookies over that'll give you a little bit more draw power. Besides that, kind of lacking. But there's kind of a few other ways we can mitigate that, and I'll talk about that here in just a minute. So strategy-wise, you're just attacking security. You don't worry about anything else in play, just crash and burn these guys into security. And basically, it's kind of how this deck plays. It's super simple. It's super aggro. I mean, like, almost to the point where it's kind of bad to be this aggro, potentially, depending on what your opponent is running. But just for a super cheap, day 1, week 1, you're just trying to win a tournament, nothing wrong with throwing these guys together. Also, if you're just playing like a sealed game, pretty easy to gather up a bunch of these super low cost rookies and just run straight Rookie Rush. That's kind of my thoughts. If it's a more serious kind of after a few weeks, you might want to steer clear of this, especially after you've had more time to assemble more cards, do some trades, do some online buying. Definitely probably will shift gears away from this. So most of these cards here are all super cheap or in starter decks and what have you. But moving on here to the end here, this is kind of like the tech realm okay? This is also where the price could increase depending on how you want to go about your tech options, right? First up is Volcanic Dramon, and also all 4 of these is in my top 5 staples. So kind of amusing that they're in here because, you know, I said how good they were. So Volcanic Dramon, he's just kind of a simple answer to Rookie Rush. So other decks playing, or other people playing the same kind of deck here, of these 3,000 or less Digimon, well 4,000 or less because Armadillomon as well, you just get to delete their whole field, which is pretty nice. 11 cost, kind of steep. My only issue with that is, are they going to be able to build up a field large enough to really get your value off of this, right? Because you're going to drop, you know, 11 mana cost or 11 memory cost. Sorry, wrong game. And you're going to give them all that fuel. The question is, were they able to replenish their hand resources to just dump a whole nother field full, or did they kind of already do that and now they're just top decking? Then maybe it is a good idea to play it. Next option here is the Magnadramon. And that's just another tech option here. Get +2 recovery if you have 3 or fewer security cards. So nice little heal there. Definitely always nice to have. Next options here are kind of where I started to see this deck having its potential issues. Especially early on, a lot of decks are going to have their guaranteed 4 of blockers, right? The starter deck blockers, every color is going to have them. Well, okay, the core colors are going to have them. These 2 are kind of my answers to that, right? So we got Puppetmon here is suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, and during their unsuspend phase, none of their stuff can unsuspend. So everything they attack with last turn, as well as whatever the preferably blocker that you rested just now when you played him, all of that is stuck. And that just gives your rookies 2 rounds to just push for game, potentially, okay? So I thought Puppetmon was kind of a nice answer to those kind of blocker strategies, as well as just give you a whole extra turn to rush them. So kind of neat, very kind of aggro-intensive was the theory behind Puppetmon over the Volcanic and Magnadramon, because they're very kind of reactive in like a, oh no, I'm losing, I'm about to lose sort of thing. Whereas Puppetmon's like, oh, you think you're set up, well, I'm just going to push, and you're not even going to see what's going to happen next. So that was kind of the idea with Puppetmon, kind of leaning a little more heavy over these guys just for that reason. And then there's Metal Seedramon here on play. Return up to 2 of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon to their hand. Thought process was this, again, with those blockers, these guys can't get over blockers, okay? Basically, you just gotta have to eat one every turn and then rush with the rest, and hopefully you have enough that you can still win even though you're guaranteed to lose one every turn. Metal Seedramon and Puppetmon were, in theory here, to get past those blockers, right? Those pesky blockers that are really slowing you down. That's kind of what my thought process on these guys was. Kind of like them a little bit more maybe than the other ones. Again, it's more to help this synergy going here. But again, these last 4, they could definitely be expensive cards. They are level 6s in every single one of these color choices here. So might want to, you could go less on that and go more heavy on things like I had Grizzlymon in there for a bit, just because, again, we've got 4 rookies at 4 ofs, right? So that's 16 rookies that he can evolve on top of. That's fairly likely going to come up every once in a while. So maybe playing the 4 of the Blue Grizzlymon might be an option, especially a cheaper alternative to these guys down here if you don't pull any. Any kind of combination really will work. Again, once you start playing less than a 2 of copy, the chances of pulling, getting them in a game is very kind of slim at that point. Just mathematically, the chances of being able to pull a 1 of in a 50 card deck is pretty astronomically high. So I wouldn't overly count on it. But again, a 4 of a blocker, no harm, as long as you have the necessary resources to drop on top of it, right? So that was just kind of my mismatch. Throw it together, see what happens. Very simple strategy, not overly complicated by any means. Just if you have any kind of like thoughts on what you think could be changed out or anything like that, definitely put in the comments below. I'm always looking to improve in any way, shape, or form. And I don't know, I'll probably give it a shot in my locals, at least early on within that first month, just to see how it goes, if I can assemble the cards. But again, these should all be super cheap, very affordable. I mean, what, 50 cents a card? I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. Who knows until the game hits, right? Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please support the channel in any way you can. Just liking the video or subscribing is a huge, huge help. And if you really want to support the channel, consider checking out my Patreon. There's a link in the description below for it. You can get access to my Discord server as well as some other cool incentives. Also, check out my official merch store. There's a link in the description below for my Teespring account. You get access to all my cool merch that I've got on there, as well as some other cool stuff, cool phone cases, that sort of thing. But like I said, any kind of support is always appreciated. Just simply liking the video can go a very, very long way for me. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.